We heard the MMI interviews are coming up.
Do you think you're ready?
Do you think the MMIs are a bit scary?
Do you think there's some topics which, if asked about, you're really gonna not know what to say?
Have you been understanding the basic principles of the 4 pillars of medicine?
How?
Okay, in today's video, we'll be covering the basics of MMI, how we prepared, and how it's structured, kinda. Not really, because we were tested in a different format. We heard that it's on Zoom now. By the way, this is Patrick.
Hello everyone.
We are second year medical students, and hopefully we'll be answering some of your questions. Sweet. So first off, before we start the interview, we have a bit of reading time, Patrick. So what did you do during that reading time?
Well, I tried to get as many different ideas in that time. It's not very long, and when I decided, oh yeah, I can talk about that, the next thing that I would do is I'd try and think as different as possible. What else can I think about which is like completely different? I know I definitely know I can speak about this topic, so what's the next topic? And then I would try to think, and I'd try and get at least 3, and then I would label my fingers with those topics as well, so that when I was there I could tap those fingers maybe on my leg or whatever and just remember like, oh yep, and then think I've got a few more fingers to go, I've got a few more different topics that I can talk about.
That's really cool how you assign ideas to fingers. So when you first meet your interviewer, what was your mindset like and what did you do?
Yeah, well, it's a big opportunity. Congrats if you are one of the ones who have been selected for an interview. It's a fantastic opportunity to talk about some really, really interesting topics with some very clever people. So that was the mindset that I tried to keep. The first thing that I did when I walked into that room, I had my points ready, but the first thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to make sure that I connected with that interviewer. I needed to say who I was clearly, and I needed to know who they were and make sure we were on the same page. And almost all of the interviewers will help you get on the same page and just check in. Do you understand the question? That sort of thing. And making sure that you are on the same page gives you that connection where you can really bounce off and then talk about your ideas.
Yes, I completely agree with that. I think it's very important to have the mindset of having such an awesome opportunity to meet a health professional in such a short time span. Early on in my practice, I had the mindset of trying to prove myself, and all that caused was a lot of anxiety. So definitely I'd highly recommend having your mindset of just having the awesome opportunity.
And when you have a few different things prepared and you have a few different ideas which are your comfort zone, you know those ideas inside and out. You can talk all day about marijuana. Maybe there's a topic which you just know lots of information about. If you can hold on to that and you can use that as an anchor for whenever you get stuck and you're not sure, oh, how am I going to talk about like creativity? You know, there are lots of abstract concepts, and you can find some of those things that you really resonate with and hold that in the interview as your backup. So you've always got something to say.
Nice. Sweet. So that's pretty much what we did during the interview. We'd had ideas and we'd say them, and if there's familiar ideas, we hold on to that. But what did you do to prepare for the interview, Patrick?
I think when you give yourself a time to practice, when you give yourself you take the plunge and you really just ask somebody, oh, what are your thoughts on this really dense topic? And you're kind of forced to then talk about that. You really have to open up and ask your friends, oh, can we practice this? Can we actually do a run through? Because if you don't practice it, the idea of how you're going to do the interview could be very different from how you actually communicate yourself, and you might end up saying some things that you don't really mean, and they might come across the wrong way. So it's nice to get out those little bumps early.
Getting those rips in early. Practicing with a friend, would you say?
Absolutely. Practice with a friend, or get a few friends together and have a bit of a round table.
Something I found very beneficial in my practice is talking with a law student, because they're very opinionated sometimes, and then trying to argue against that can be really helpful.
Find someone who's willing to play devil's advocate for sure. That's great.
Do you do anything else to practice? Did you record yourself?
I didn't record myself, but that's, in hindsight, that would have been really helpful. Once you've recorded yourself, the next task is to listen to yourself. It's almost harder than recording yourself to begin with. Other things that I did to prepare was I really tried to tune in with the issues that have happened recently. So you need to have an opinion that you're confident about with the referendums. You need to have an opinion that you're confident about with the COVID response, and maybe about some responses to the pandemic in other countries as well. We all know what the hot topics are at the moment, and so making sure you have an opinion on the most important problems of today is really important.
Definitely. So topics such as COVID and the referendums and the elections here in the US, would you say?
Yeah, and I'll probably say global warming as well, sustainability, and then just problems which face the health sector in general as well, like understaffing, or what do you think about the public healthcare system, that sort of thing.
So a question that I get asked a lot is, what do you wear and how should you prepare? So Patrick, please enlighten us.
Yeah, I think wear what makes you feel comfortable. You don't want to dress up too much, don't feel it, but if you feel comfortable dressing up to the nines, then do that. There's a certain element of professionalism where you have to look like you've put in some effort. So think about going in for any job interview, what you would want to wear to make yourself look serious and look professional so you can speak your best.
So what did you wear personally?
I wore a button-up shirt and long pants and dress shoes. I feel like the long pants for men is essential and a dress shirt is pretty much essential.
Tie or no tie?
I went no tie.
No tie. I've noticed that a lot of interviewers didn't actually wear ties, so I believe in mirroring and trying to mirror what the other people do.
Nice.
So I think no tie for me is my recommendation.
I remember on the morning of having to just treat myself really nicely. Be good to yourself in the morning. Make sure you are feeling as top of your game as possible. Give yourself the coffee that you want. Give yourself a bath if you want. Give yourself whatever makes you feel comfortable in that morning. And maybe you have the interview in the afternoon. Give yourself nice things to do throughout the day, because you want to feel your best and treat yourself well before you get there, and get a good night's sleep as well.
I think those are very important things. On the day of my interview, I went super early, 1 hour early, and then I had a very cool student helper, and then there was no one else there, so it was just like me and him, and then we were blasting some of our favorite songs, and that just got me in the mood. Yeah, that was
perfect.
I completely agree with doing the things that make you feel the most comfortable.
Absolutely. Get the playlist.
Yes.
Get the playlist ready for that morning, so that walk into uni you are feeling the best.
Sweet. So I think that's pretty much everything we want to cover about the MMI. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. Any last words of advice, Patrick?
Be good to yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back. If you have an interview coming up, you're gonna do great. Be yourself. Love your work.
Thanks for watching. We wish you good luck for your interview, and we'll see you in the next one.